The White Lotus, HBO Max. The White Lotus is written by Mike White and directed by Mike White, and it's really good. I quite enjoyed it, and I'm coming on to talk about that after I trashed Severance at the end of Severance. The thing is, this is just so much more of a human drama and much more interesting. The characters are vastly more interesting. Well, let's not compare. Okay. The White Lotus, this time, this season, season three, we are taken to Tahiti. And I don't know, the Tahiti thing it was a little weird to me, but wherever it was shot and whatever resort it was shot, it was like a fabulous place on like, on a hill, like the cabins here and cabins up and up, and it looked really fabulous, and it was a lovely setting. The beach is right there, whatever. Um, really good cast, and it was a stunning finale last night with the whole cast. And now, a few things I guess I'm not going to go into the plot and all that particularly. What I particularly liked about the show, and particularly last night's episode, was the difference between the male and the female characters. And the men who are, kind of locked in within themselves, the character of Timothy, particularly, played by Jason Isaacs. And we learn right away that Jason Isaacs, who's this rich guy and who's brought his whole family onto this trip, his daughter is exploring the possibilities of staying at a monastery. Um, and that's the nature of the whole trip for them. Indulgence of toward the daughter, and so we learn he's an indulgent father, although he's basically a tuned out father, a non-communicative father, and we see that very. Laid out to us very succinctly and plainly in the fact that he cannot really talk to his family. And when early on in the season he finds out that he's in real trouble back home, somebody's been involved, somebody he's associated with in business. I didn't really know what his business was, even if we were told. It really didn't matter. But someone in his line of business associates, whatever, uh, did something illegal and screwed up, and so. He's in Tahiti on this vacation while his offices are being raided by the FBI, whatever, back home. So he cannot tell anyone about this. He cannot tell his family about this, and the uh, the resort has a situation where they want to take your phones to give you the peace and quiet of not having to deal with these devices all the time, so you can have a healing time at this, well, sort of spa. That was the thing. It was kind of place I would not like to be, where the staff is also indulgent and smiling, and I'm not the one who likes to be waited on and cared for in that way. So, which kind of goes along with the last video I was just made about why grow up. But so he is, an interesting character in that he cannot speak to his family. So all the time, all through the whole week, I think they're supposed to stay there a week, and we just see the, what, 7 episodes. So while he's there for a week, he is containing this issue with his with from his family, that they're basically broke and their life is completely going to change whenever they get back to wherever they came from. I think, Houston or somewhere in Texas or something. His wife is played by Parker Posey, and she's just a southern lady ditz who's kind of a drug addict, popping these pills all the time to keep her kind of mellow. He has two sons who are one's kind of a teenager, the other one is a young man, and a daughter, the daughter who wants to stay over. So there are the series in that confronts this sort of male shame and what to be done about it. I mean, it seems when he's talking to them and finds out that using the backdrop of the monastery and the Buddhism, of something that involve philosophy that talks about non-attachment and the misery of the attachment to things and so forth. He talks to his family about, he says, well, that's kind of a cool thing. Talks to his family about how how would you how would you experience life if you didn't have what we have, if you didn't have the riches that we have, and the wife and the daughter and the older son kind of say that it would be a real misery for them, and that they kind of give the impression that life would not really be worth living, while the younger son, the teen son, says, "Oh, I guess I'd get by some way." So when we come to a crucial point then later in the plot, that son is the one who's given a different treatment than the rest of them are, that go along with the issues that the Timothy character is having, because he's just thinking of ending it all and taking everyone with him, and that is sort of what his plan is, and but that ends up not being what happens, and I won't tell you what happens, but it was all really good. And so that there's that story. Then there's the story of what's his name, Rick, played by Walton Goggins, and he's quite good in this, and it's a good character. And there's Rick's girlfriend, who is played by Aimee Lou Wood, Chelsea. And Aimee Lou Wood is really good in this. She is one of the more outstanding characters in the whole thing, of several outstanding characters, really. But she really comes alive in the role, and is terrific, as the committed and loyal lover to the older man, the Rick. Um, there is also, those are the kind of two big stories. There's also the story of the security guard who finds out something about a crime, but then puts him in a weird position, and we see him at the end really having a crisis, a moral crisis, and a dilemma that he does not want to do, and we see the cost of someone when they have to take a life, and what that means to somebody to do something like that, when so many of these dramas and so forth, it's just sort of done with what glee or whatever, and it just doesn't matter. Well, in this case it really does matter, so that's part of the appeal and realism of this particular drama, because although mostly they are wealthy, privileged people who we kind of don't care about all that much, we see real human stories and dramas that are relevant to the rest of us go on within these stories. I mean, the rest of us is including a kind of impoverished guy like me, who's living here in New York and will never go to a place like that, would not want to. the whole series is it's kind of like a high end fantasy island in a way because they all arrive, the first episode to this place. Zip lane. Only we don't have Hervé Villechaize in it, and so it's very much the structure of it is kind of like Fantasy Island, and but they go off on it's just better, it's in every way, and the stories run through each season. Each season is one story in itself, and 7 episodes done, and we don't have to really carry on into the next season with the same characters. Although there is an interplay and a holdover from season one to season two to season three with this one, particularly with the character of Greg, who is an older rich guy who is in the previous episodes, and that story with the character of Belinda, Nastasia Rothwell is very well handled, and we get to see her have there's a lot of suspense going on this because he's kind of a ruthless character, and there are ruthless characters all over the place here in this little jungle, and what goes on with them is quite good. Um, but the thing is, it does have these like three. There's the three women who were there together. What Leslie and Lori, and who's the other one? Um, I guess Michelle, Jacqueline. Yeah. So the Carrie Coon character, I think, yeah, the Carrie Coon character of Lori has they're sort of at odds. They have a conflict. One of them's they're all old college chums, basically having a reunion. Many years later when they're a lot older, and so Carrie is kind of a corporate lawyer or whatever. Her other friends, one of them is a celebrity TV star, and the other one is a very religious woman from Austin. Very very she's into God and so forth. So they're all kind of in different places than they were when in their college years, but. We have a really good monologue then delivered by Carrie after all this drama goes on between them. So yeah, that's one of the things I wanted to highlight here is the masterful writing of Mike White and how he does treat these women characters particular as they get to speak their heart, and from their heart their action and love for one another is comes out through their speech and their activity in that way, where the main men in the story, a little bit the young men and the teen, but definitely Greg and Timothy character are very closed in. They are the older men, and they are very closed in, and also the character Rick that Walton Goggins plays is also not they're kind of men of action, and that's kind of the reality of sort of our life in the men don't do a lot of big speechifying. They give these looks, and you can see them internally boiling and internally getting disturbed and internally having these problems and internally needing to act and do something or speak or share or whatever, which they kind of don't do, and it gets to be explosive and deadly in at least two of the cases. So I think that's where I'll wrap it up here. But I could say that I think you won't do too wrong by watching the White Lotus season 3 and the previous seasons. And Mike White's pretty special. I mean, from way back, the feature of Chuck and Buck, which is really good, and really kind of troubling and weird, to Enlightened with Laura Dern, which is really great, and both of these Mike White plays a part in. And these in the White Lotus, he's not acting in those. I never saw the wrestling one or the School of Rock, so there you go. I don't watch the big popular ones, I guess, but the little popular ones I have watched. So maybe I should watch those Nacho Libres sometime, and maybe assisted. I don't know. Maybe Jack Black is more than I can stomach sometime. I don't know. So anyway, that's all I have now, and talk to you later.